Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
A pleasant evening and a very warm welcome to the National News Broadcast. We are coming to you live from Rupavahini's News Studios. I'm Dilanjali Ananda.
A very good evening indeed. I'm Charita Minipurarachi, and let's move on to the headlines for tonight's news. President proposes island-wide dialogue to shape youth-driven future Sri Lanka. Cabinet approval for debt restructuring agreements. World Bank grants $150 million to strengthen the health sector in the country. Allegations over an effort to sabotage the nation-building efforts through strike actions. 20,000 Urumea land deeds to Ampara. President reveals over an effort to sabotage the national program. China's Chang'e 6 lunar probe returns with first soil samples from the dark side of the moon. Afghanistan qualifies for the semi-finals in a T20 World Cup for the first time in history.
Now for those and other stories in detail. President Ranil Wickremesinghe underscored the need to initiate a country-wide dialogue on shaping the future Sri Lanka envisioned by its youth.
He emphasized the necessity of embarking on a new path towards fostering a robust economy with the younger generation assuming pivotal roles. The President made these remarks today during a youth gathering organized by the National Youth Services Council at HM Veerasinghe Stadium, Ampara. President Wickremesinghe said that he plans to allocate a portion of the 200-acre land owned by the Youth Services Council in Trincomalee for the tourism industry, while the remainder will be used to establish a permanent Yawanpura city of youth. President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that the Poson Festival was celebrated with great enthusiasm, attracting over 1 million people to Anuradhapura sacred city alone. Earlier, Colombo welcomed about 2 million people during Vesak celebrations. The President said that across the country, Sinhala and Tamil New Year festivities were joyously observed. He said that notably this year saw over 20,000 dancehall stalls across Sri Lanka during Poson Poya, marking a return to freely enjoyed festivals after several years. In the upcoming week, he said that they are poised to finalize agreements with the creditors aiming to transform Sri Lanka into a nation capable of servicing its debt. These agreements will not only provide us with foreign exchange but also open avenues for aid and foreign investment, enabling us to embark on a new path forward. He said that they have set a goal for Sri Lanka to achieve developed status by 2048, marking the centenary of independence. Despite criticism from some quarters, he said that they remain steadfast in this vision. By 2047, he said that India will commemorate a century of independence with Prime Minister Narendra Modi aiming for a developed India by then. He urged to join hands with India, achieve the milestone and work towards building a developed Sri Lanka by 2048. Currently, he said that they are laying the groundwork necessary for achieve these ambitions. Therefore, he said that it is crucial to the youth to engage in discussions about the future of the nation. He added that the decisions made will shape not just his future or that of the ministers present, but the future of the youth as well.
Cabinet approval has been granted to sign the respective agreements pertaining to the debt restructuring process tomorrow. The details pertaining to the debt restructuring will be presented to the Parliament following the special statement of the President tomorrow. Minister Bandula Gunawardena made remarks in this regard at the media briefing held today to announce the Cabinet decisions. Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that with the initiation of debt restructuring process, dialogues, conferences and workshops in this regard were held for a long period of time. He said that the President made a lengthy explanation regarding the debt restructuring agreement to the Cabinet of Ministers. This explanation includes the discussions held with the state leaders of the friendly countries including India, Japan, China, Paris Club and others who supported Sri Lanka following the declaration of bankruptcy. Accordingly, he said that the Central Bank, Ministry of Finance and other relevant agencies have reached the final stages of discussion conducted with the support, cooperation and guidance of both local and international experts. The minister said that following the explanations, a special Sri Lankan delegation comprised of Finance Minister or Finance Ministry Secretary, heads of the Treasury and State Ministers will leave the country tomorrow to sign the relevant agreements with joint Paris groups. Accordingly, he said that the Cabinet of Ministers granted approval for the signing of the respective agreements pertaining to the debt restructuring process. He said that the President pointed out that all information pertaining to the agreements and mechanisms relevant to these agreements will be presented to the Parliament and address the nation.
The Ministry of Technology and the Ministry of Education have jointly planned to implement a program to empower private education by introducing digital technology, and this will enable the use of digital technology to explore and analyze Sri Lankan national Buddhist heritage. Accordingly, the Cabinet of Ministers approved the combined proposal presented by President Ranil Wickremesinghe and Minister Susil Premajantha. Minister Bantula Gunawardena said that the proposal was presented during the Posan festival period, which marked the arrival of Arahat Mahinda to the country along with the civilization and education. He said that over 100,000 clergy and lay students are receiving education in around 825 Pirivan establishments. Accordingly, he said that each Pirivan will receive at least 2 computers, a smart board and a printer. He said that the cabinet approval was granted to streamline Pirivan education along with the global trends by facilitating digital technology. The Cabinet of Ministers approved the proposal to make the preparations to develop Hinguragoda Airport as a complete airport. The relevant proposal was presented by President Ranil Wickremesinghe and Minister Nimal Siripal de Silva. The airport will be developed in accordance with international civil aviation standards. Accordingly, a committee has been appointed for the preparation of the master plan. The Cabinet of Ministers granted approval to the proposal to recognize an appropriate investor following the competitive procurement process for the geogas terminal at Keravalapitia, comprised of internal burner engines of 200 megawatt within twin fuel capacity. The relevant proposal was presented by Minister Kanchana Wijesekara.
The World Bank has approved $150 million in financing for Sri Lanka to improve the quality and utilization of its primary healthcare services. In a statement issued by the World Bank headquarters in Washington, this new project will support the Sri Lanka's forward-looking primary care recognition agenda, laying the foundation for a more responsive and people-centric healthcare system. The newly approved Sri Lanka Primary Healthcare System Enhancing Project is expected to help improve quality of care and increase the use of primary medical care institutions which provide essential health services to local communities. Capacity challenges and absence of a formal referral mechanism have led to the underutilization of primary healthcare facilities and overcrowding the tertiary care facilities in Sri Lanka. The previous World Bank supported primary healthcare system strengthening project had already enhanced 550 primary medical care institutions with essential equipment, medicines, health workers and basic laboratory testing facilities. The new project will scale up these efforts to cover 100% of primary medical health care institutions across all districts of Sri Lanka, expanding to over 1,000 facilities with a more comprehensive service package and improved quality of care. According to the statement, this project has been designed around these evolving health priorities, helping invest in preventive care and promoting primary care facilities as the first point of care. In addition, the project will support the provision of comprehensive primary healthcare services by expanding capacity to cover mental health, palliative, rehabilitative and emergency care, which are particularly important for the aging population in Sri Lanka. The project will also bolster pandemic preparedness by expanding the capacity of primary medical care institutions to detect and respond to future infections, diseases, outbreak. According to the statement, this will help Sri Lanka's healthcare system to adapt and respond effectively to new and emerging challenges.
And meanwhile, President's Director General on Trade Union Saman Ratnapriya says various trade unions engaging in strike actions in a stabilizing country with the expectation to bankrupt the nation again for political gains. He made these remarks during a media briefing held today by the civil organizations and trade union collective to create awareness on the situation of the country. Public who visit the education department to obtain services were faced with extreme difficulties due to the strike action launched by the state executive officers today. The trade union action, which was launched without a prior notice, inconvenienced the public who arrived from distant parts of the country to obtain their certificates. President's Director General on Trade Union Saman Ratnapriya said that the trade union take measures to launch strike actions based on certain demands. He said that while taking actions are being independent, others take action based on political interferences. He said that the demands of these trade unions cannot be granted completely. He said that this would drive into the government to print money again. Several remarks were shared in a few media briefings held regarding the strike action jointly launched by the trade unions. President of the Joint Trade Union Centre, Asanka Srinath, said that they accept the requirement to represent for their rights. However, he said that this is not the time for such demands. He said that the country is putting an effort to move forward, yet such actions would push the country backwards. He said that these actions cause great injustice to the public. President of the Educational Professionals Association, Venerable Ulapane Sumangalathera, said that a certain group of trade unions has declared a trade union action for tomorrow. However, he said that they oppose this trade union action.
අරමුණ උවමනා වෙනුවෙන් අර හැමදාම පීඩාවට පත්වෙච්ච වැටු ප්‍රශ්නය ඉදිරියට දාගෙන ගුරුවරු සමග රැකියාව සමග සෙල්ලම් කිරීම. අපි කිසිසේත් ඒවා අනුමත කරන්නේ නැහැ.
Minister Bandra Gunawardena also made remarks regarding the prevailing situation. Minister Bandra Gunawardena said that 10,000 rupee allowance for state employees was granted as there are no provisions in the budget to address the issue of salary anomalies. He said that the salaries and other expenses are borne to the taxpayer funds. He said that the President has appointed a specialist committee in this regard. He said that these issues, including the salary anomalies, will be addressed through the budget 2025 based on the recommendations of the committee.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe called on the public to report any obstructive officials who attempt to sabotage the Urumaya program to distribute freehold land deeds. President Wickremesinghe made these remarks at the Ampara District Urumaya program ceremony held today. Land deeds were awarded to 1,758 out of 20,000 eligible recipients from 17 divisional secretariat divisions in the Ampara district under the Urumaya National Program. The ceremony was held with the presence of the President at the Veera Singh Stadium, Ampara. Addressing the gathering, he revealed that while numerous government officials are diligently working on the Urumaya program to distribute freehold land deeds, a small faction is attempting to undermine. President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that today the residents in Ampara received free land rights. He pointed out that it is the responsibility of those who receive the deeds to protect these rights and pass them on to their children. When this program started, he said that some questioned why these land rights were being given. He said that they are granting these land rights under the same laws by which the colonials acquired the land. He said that the government plans to distribute 2 million Urumaya freehold land deeds across the country to facilitate this. He said that they have taken steps to increase the staff of institutions, including the survey department. Government officials are working hard to ensure the success of this program, and many people are in support. However, reports have surfaced about a group of officials intimidating the public. These officials are questioning why these lands are being allocated, suggesting they could be reclaimed by the government. Minister Harin Fernando said that those who receive their own the land today will pass the lands for their children, marking the first time that they have this right. He said that it is the responsibility of those who receive deeds to protect this legacy, and the Urume freehold land deed is an honour bestowed upon this generation. Well, while some politics have only offered empty promises, he said that the President has given the legacy of these people. Many government officials are working tirelessly for this cause. Parliamentarian D. Veer Singh said that many people in the Ampara district do not have freehold land deeds. He said that he was grateful for the President's effort to turn the noble concept of providing land deeds into a reality. Despite efforts to fracture the United National Party, he said that they, along with the party leader, always defended it.
Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority says that tourist arrivals for this year has exceeded 966,000. A total of 69,825 tourists have arrived in the country in the first 19 days of this month. Most of the tourists for this month have arrived from India, while others have arrived from many other countries including Britain, China and Australia. The most number of tourist arrivals was recorded in the month of February with 218,350. Media reports have indicated that the total number of tourist arrivals in the first half of this year expected to reach beyond 1 million mark. And meanwhile, the Met Department says the rainfall in the southwestern part of the country expected to increase slightly.
The department has indicated that the rainy situation will gradually decline after the 27th. Director General of the Meteorology Department, Atula Karunanayake, said that showers will occur at times in western, Sabaragamuwa and northwestern provinces and in Kandy, Nuwara, Galle and Mathura districts. He said that fairly heavy showers, about 100 millimeters, are likely to occur at some parts in Sabaragamuwa province and in Kandy and Nuwara districts. Several spells of showers may occur in Mathura and Hambantota districts. He said that strong winds of about 40 to 50 kilometers per hour can be expected at times over the western slopes of the Central Hills, northern, north central and northwestern provinces and in Trincomalee and Munarangala districts. He said that wind speed can increase up to 50 to 60 kilometers per hour at times in the sea areas of the coast extending from Trincomalee to Kankasanture via Mullathir and Putlam to Hambantota via Colombo and Galle. Thunder showers will occur in the sea areas of the coast extending from Putlam to Hambantota via Colombo and Galle. He said that the rainy situation will prevail despite a slight decline tomorrow. He added that the rainfall in the southwestern part of the country is expected to decline slightly after the 27th. The Wimala Surendra Reservoir has been overflowing since this morning due to the rainfall in catchment areas of the Central Hills.
Winners in the school level category of the lantern competition held at the Dharma Rashmi Poson Zone in Homagama received prizes yesterday. The ceremony was held with the participation of Minister Dr. Bantula Gunawardena. 25 winners out of 1,000 lanterns competed at the Dharma Rashmi Poson Zone in Homagama received prizes at the ceremony. Students of the Mahinda Rajapaksa College in Pitipana, Homagama won the first prize. They received a cash prize of 500,000 rupees. The runners-up were the students of the Wataraka Junior School and they won a cash prize of 200,000 rupees. Homagama President's College won the third place and they were awarded with a cash prize of 100,000 rupees. And other winners of the competition also received cash prizes and certificates.
Now, another Chinese airline has commenced flights to Sri Lanka. This new airline is expected to further boost tourist arrivals to Sri Lanka from China. Chongqing Airlines resumed direct non-stop flights from Chongqing, China to Colombo from yesterday. The inaugural flight from Chongqing to Colombo, OQ2393, arrived at the Bandar Naik International Airport last evening with 78 passengers. The flight was welcomed with a celebratory water cannon salute upon arrival. Accordingly, 3 weekly flights will be operated between Chongqing and Colombo. Senior advisor to the President on National Security and Chief of Presidential Staff Sagala Ratnayaka has instructed relevant officials to provide a maximum support for the successful organization of the Bora Community's Spiritual Conference and the annual convention in Sri Lanka. These instructions were given during a discussion held at the Presidential Secretariat yesterday regarding the upcoming Bora Conference and Convention. The Bora Conference and Convention are scheduled to take place from July 7th to the 16th at the Bambalapitiya Bora Mosque and the Sri Lanka Convention and Convention Centre, coinciding with the Bohra community's spiritual conference in Karachi, Pakistan. Approximately 15,000 members of the Bohra community from various countries including India are expected to attend this event in Sri Lanka. Consequently, extensive discussions were held regarding the provisions of all necessary infrastructure, including airport facilities. The meeting was attended by Ali Sabri and other state agency representatives.
And let's move on to some few more local news items in brief. Minister Mahinda Amaravira said that a proposal will be presented to reduce the tax on imported coconut oil to control the increasing coconut oil prices in the market. Around 70,000 metric tons of imported coconut oil are currently in the country, which is thrice the amount compared to the last year. The minister said that there will not be a shortage due to the existing stocks. The minister also said that the government is not expected to increase the tax on imported coconut oil until 2025. 3 suspects were taken into custody along with 5 million rupees worth heroin while inspecting a 3-wheeler in Vattala yesterday. The search operation was conducted jointly by Sri Lanka Navy and Police Anti-Narcotics Bureau. Sri Lanka Navy was able to apprehend a multi-day trawler which was transporting 200 kilograms of narcotics. The Navy said that the 6 suspects have been taken into custody. Customs Narcotics Control Division was able to apprehend 4 kilograms of ice narcotics in the Colombo Central Postal Exchange yesterday. The raid was conducted based on a tip-off received by the Customs Intelligence Division, and the reports have indicated that the haul, which was brought down from Pakistan, is worth 200 million rupees. 3 suspects have been taken into custody in this connection. 2 new district secretaries and 2 acting district secretaries received their appointment letters today. The appointment letters were presented by Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena at the Public Administration Department, and the new district secretary to the Colombo is Ginige Prasanna Janaka Kumara. GM Janaka Gunawardena has been appointed as the new district secretary to the Kalutara. Meanwhile, M. Pradeepan has been appointed as the acting district secretary to Jaffna and S. Muralidharan as the acting district secretary to Kilinochchi. The plant quarantine services at the Colombo port has been further expanded with the new technology. The new plant quarantine service building at the Colombo port premises, constructed at a cost of $1.3 billion US, was declared open today. The event was held under the patronage of Ministers Timal Siripal de Silva and Mahinda Amaravira. Sri Lankan Ambassador to Korea, Myon Lee, and several others were present at this occasion. And stay tuned for international news after this break.
உட்காருங்க சுபாபேஷ், உங்களுக்கு டிரான்ஸ்ஃபர் வந்திருக்கேன். ரொம்ப தொலைவில் ஒரு சின்ன ஸ்கூலுக்கு.
பரவாயில்ல சார், அதுவும் ஒரு ஸ்கூல் தானே. டீச்சரும் போயிடுவீங்க.
உன்னதமான இலக்குகளை மனதில் கொண்டு நீங்கள் எடுக்கும் சரியான முடிவுகள் உங்களையும் நாட்டையும் பெருமையடைய செய்யும். நாங்கள் உங்கள் பெருமையின் அங்கமான மக்கள் வங்கி, தேசத்தின் பெருமை.
Welcome back. On foreign news, China Chang E6 lunar module returned to Earth today, successfully completing its historic moon mission.
And the module was able to collect the first ever samples from the far side of the moon in a major step forward the China's space program. The re-entry module successfully landed in a designated zone in the China's northern Inner Mongolia region today morning. A live stream carried by China Central Television showed the module touching down by parachute to a ground of applause in the mission control room. A search team located the modules minutes after the landing. The live stream showed a worker carrying out checks on the module, which lay on grassland beside a Chinese flag. The Chang E6 probe was expected to return to Earth with up to 2 kilograms of moon dust and rocks from the lunar far side, which will be analyzed by researchers in China before being opened for access by international scientists. The samples were collected using drill and robotic arm from a location within the South Pole Aitken Basin. The area is an impact crater formed some 4 billion years ago on the moon's far side, which was never visible to the Earth.
Britain's Princess Anne has sustained minor injuries and concussion following an incident, Buckingham Palace said yesterday. In a statement, the palace asserted that the Princess Royal had been admitted to hospital following an incident on her estate in Gloucestershire, southwest England, on Sunday evening. The cause of the injury is yet to be confirmed. The Princess Royal was injured on Sunday evening when she was out walking on her estate and horses were nearby. The princess had not been able to recall the details of what happened on Sunday evening due to her concussion. Her medical team suggested her head injury was consistent with the type of impact from a horse's leg or head.
WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange had been freed from prison in the United Kingdom and is expected to travel home to Australia after he agreed to plead guilty to a single charge of breaching the espionage law in the United States. Julian Assange, 52, will plead guilty to one count of conspiracy to obtain a disclosed classified United States national defense documents, according to a filing in the United States District Court for the Northern Mariana Islands. He was freed from the United Kingdom's high-security Belmarsh prison yesterday and taken to the airport from where he flew out of the country. Julian Assange will appear at a court in Spain, a United States Pacific territory, where he will be sentenced to 62 months of the time already served, and he will return to Australia after the hearing, the WikiLeaks statement added on the social media X, referring to the hearing in Spain.
The head of the United Nations Children's Agency, UNICEF, stated that Sudan was one of the worst places in the world for children. Catherine Russell stated that it now had the largest displacement of children anywhere, with millions facing malnutrition and most were not given the right to education. She travelled to the country torn apart by more than an year of brutal civil war as warnings of famine grew louder. The pillars of Sudan's food economy had also collapsed, and both warring parties and the Sudanese army and the parliamentary group called the Rapid Support Forces were restricting the delivery of desperate needed aid.
And at least 8 people were reported dead in a large office building fire near Moscow, the regional governor Andriy Verbero stated. Furthermore, the emergency officials asserted that just one person was rescued from the blaze at the burning building in Frevesino, about 25 kilometers northeast to the capital. 2 people were killed after they jumped from a window, and while 6 died when the interior of the office collapsed in the blaze, and the regional governor Andriy Verbero wrote in a post to social media. Footage online showed thick smoke billowing from the upper floors of the 8-story complex, and a 34-year-old man had been taken into hospital to a serious condition, while 2 firefighters were also being treated for injuries sustained in the blaze. Emergency ministry officials said that over 130 people and 2 helicopters were working to fight the fire.
Pinamumacang prima kotumi fantamai.
Now, Afghanistan qualified for the semi-finals of T20 Cricket World Cup for the first time in history.
And they have managed to secure a spot in the semi-finals after defeating Bangladesh by 8 runs, and India also sealed a semi-final spot after defeating Australia. The match between Afghanistan and Bangladesh was played in Kingston in Caribbean Islands. Batting first, Afghanistan scored 115 runs for the loss of 5 wickets in their innings. Rahmanullah Gurbaz scored 43 runs, and Bangladesh, chasing a target of 116, only managed to gather 105 runs in their innings. According to Duckworth and Lewis method, Afghanistan won the match by 8 runs. Afghanistan will face against South Africa in Tobago in the first semi-finals on the 27th.
Got him! Skidded on through!
For the first time ever, they get to a semi-final in a World Cup.
Meanwhile, India managed to secure a 24-run victory against Australia. The match was played in Ross Isles in the Caribbean islands, and batting first, India managed to score 205 runs for the loss of 5 wickets in their 20 overs. Rohit Sharma scored 92 runs. In response, Australia only managed to score 181 runs in their 20 overs. Harshdeep Singh picked up 3 wickets for India, and India will face against England in the second semi-finals in Providence.
Tinamu macang, prima kotumi, fantamai.
And that's all the news we have for tonight. Join us tomorrow at the same time for the very latest on Channel Eye. I'm the Lajri together with Chaitra signing off. Good night.
Good night.